If you believe a brand new car on the showroom floor represents the peak of progress, then you may be looking at one of the most sophisticated financial traps the modern industry has ever built. According to J.D. Power, the PP100 index is now at an alarming level. Before 2020, this number typically ranged from 120 to 160. By 2024, it had risen to 190 in dependability studies. Then it climbed further to 202 in 2025. Put simply, newer vehicles, despite all their advanced technology, have been getting worse. That brand new car you just signed for at $70,000 may be a very well-packaged mistake. And don't reassure yourself by thinking, at least I bought a high-end vehicle. Because even models like the Cadillac Escalade and the Jeep Wagoneer, priced close to $100,000, are not escaping this cycle of defects. The modern auto industry has become a financial slaughterhouse, where true mechanical quality is being phased out and replaced with artificial shine. And next, I'm going to show you exactly which useless features are quietly wearing your vehicle down day by day, and why going back to older analog machines may be the smartest decision you can make right now. Going back to the years before 2010, that was the era of pure mechanical design. Everything was straightforward. You could see the engine block, the belts, and the thick hydraulic lines. Control was in the hands of the driver. If a part failed, you could feel it through the steering wheel, and most importantly, you could fix it yourself. But today's vehicles are a different story. What you see is no longer a durable engine, but a maze of wiring, sensitive electronic control modules, and cheap plastic parts replacing solid metal. Take a simple example, the front bumper. Back then, it was a solid piece of steel or durable ABS plastic built to protect the vehicle. If it got scratched, it didn't matter. If it was badly damaged, you could go to a salvage yard, buy another one for $100, and install it yourself. Today, repair costs have jumped by 59%. A minor collision can easily lead to a $3,000 repair bill. Why? Because manufacturers have packed the bumper with ultrasonic sensors and radar cameras. A small dent can trigger faults across the entire driver assistance system, forcing you to take the car to the dealer for software calibration at a very high cost. This is not progress. This is technology invading mechanical durability, turning vehicles, once a source of pride for Americans, into disposable machines. And this deception does not stop at the surface. It runs deep into how these vehicles operate, through a set of useless yet harmful features that I'm about to expose next. Exposing useless technology. What's even more concerning is that the modern auto industry is packing vehicles with features that sound advanced, but in reality are useless, inconvenient, and sometimes even work against the driver. 1. Useless and harmful features. They call it innovation. I call it systematic damage. First, the auto start-stop system. Automakers and regulators have come together using environmental concerns to push a technology that any experienced mechanic knows is harmful to an engine. It's marketed as a fuel-saving feature. But every time you stop at a red light, every time you release the brake, it starts again. It may seem minor, but for an internal combustion engine, every restart puts stress on both electrical and mechanical systems. The starter motor wears out faster. The specialized AGM battery, often 3 times more expensive than a standard one, fails sooner. And the crankshaft bearings take on repeated strain. All of this to save a small amount of fuel, but the cost shows up later in thousands of dollars in maintenance. Even worse, many newer vehicles don't allow you to disable this feature permanently. And then there's the trend of downsizing. Manufacturers have moved away from naturally aspirated V8 and V6 engines machines that could run 300,000 miles without major repairs. In their place are small 3-cylinder and 4-cylinder engines pushed beyond their limits. Turbochargers operate under extreme heat and spin at tens of thousands of revolutions per minute. It's like asking a small person to carry the load of a giant. Eventually, something gives. The manufacturers understand the consequences, yet they continue with start-stop systems, downsizing, and turbocharging everything to meet regulations. This creates a system where the real cost falls on the owner, usually after 80,000 to 100,000 miles. Step inside the cabin and the problem continues. Why replace a simple mechanical door handle, something that rarely fails, with an electronic button or touch sensor? There have been real cases where people were locked out of their own vehicles in winter simply because the battery was weak or a sensor froze. Getting into your own car becomes a complicated process. And then there's the large touchscreen replacing physical controls. For drivers like us, adjusting the air conditioning or changing the radio used to be instinctive. You didn't even have to look. Now you have to go through multiple menus on a glossy screen just to adjust the fan. This isn't just inconvenient, it's distracting, and it creates a critical point of failure. If that screen fails, you lose control of key functions in the vehicle. Even systems like lane keep assist, promoted as safety features, can become dangerous. Imagine you are steering slightly to avoid a pothole or a sudden obstacle, and the system misreads your action as drifting out of the lane, then pulls the steering wheel back. That split-second conflict between driver and machine can lead to an accident. Vehicles that once had character and durability are being turned into fragile electronic devices, easier to break, harder to trust. But the problem doesn't stop with these useless features. Automakers are also turning your vehicle into a silent data collector, gathering information in ways most drivers never realize. 2. Privacy's invasion and the spy inside your car. Back in the day, when you drove a 2005 Ford F-150 or a Chevy Silverado with an LS engine, your vehicle was your fortress. Today, but a modern car is more like a quiet observer tracking your behavior and sending that information back to Silicon Valley and insurance companies. Take systems like GM OnStar or built-in cloud connectivity. The harsh truth is they are not just there to help you. Automakers are collecting detailed data about how you drive. Every time you brake a little too hard, every time you accelerate to pass on the highway, even your average daily speed. That data is packaged and sold to large data brokers like LexisNexis. And what does that mean for you? You might wake up one morning to find your insurance premium has gone up even though you have no tickets or violations. It doesn't stop there. Look at the growing number of cameras on vehicles like the Cadillac Lyriq or other new luxury SUVs. They are marketed for their 4K resolution and night vision. But in reality, these cameras can zoom in and identify faces, whether it's pedestrians or drivers behind you. And inside the cabin, you are being monitored as well. Onto driver-facing cameras and sensors track your eye movement and posture under the label of driver attention monitoring. In plain terms, that is constant surveillance from the manufacturer. And remember, anything connected to the internet can be controlled remotely. One day, if you miss a payment, or if the manufacturer decides to force a software update, they could disable your vehicle right in your own garage with a single command. This level of intrusion is just the beginning of a darker business model. Once they control your data and your software, they can start charging you continuously through subscription services. That is the true nature of the modern car. It doesn't just take you from place to place. It watches you, evaluates you, and in some cases, it can turn against you. 3. Subscription model and bleeding the customer. In the past, when you paid for a car, you owned everything in it. Today, you can be sitting in a vehicle worth tens of thousands of dollars and still not have full access to what's right in front of you. Manufacturers sell you a car with all the hardware installed, but then use software to lock it down. Even basic comfort features, things that used to rely on a simple mechanical switch, are now being turned into services. Take the Toyota Camry 2025 as an example. You may spend tens of thousands of dollars to own it, but if you want to use remote start from your key fob, you may have to pay a monthly fee. If you want the navigation system to function, you may need an ongoing subscription. They break the car into 5 or 6 separate service packages, charging you piece by piece. The real danger lies in the concept of planned obsolescence. Modern vehicles are now designed more like smartphones. They look impressive when new, but within 5 to 10 years they risk becoming outdated and limited. Once the manufacturer stops supporting the software, or if their servers go offline, many of the smart features in your car can simply disappear. Meanwhile, a purely mechanical car from the 1990s can still run strong after 30 years with proper maintenance. This is done to push you into buying a new vehicle again and again. And this decline is not limited to business models. It has worked its way into the production line itself, eroding even the legendary names we once trusted for durability. And next, I'm going to show you how some of those once reliable icons are now falling apart under the pressure of so-called modern technology. And if by this point you still believe these problems only affect budget brands, poorly built models, or more companies with a bad reputation, then you need to understand this. Today's quality crisis spares no one, not even the high-end names. A clear example is Toyota, once considered the gold standard of mechanical reliability. Even they have not escaped the consequences of adding complex hybrid systems and turbocharged engines into their flagship models. The drivetrain is no longer just an engine and a transmission. It has become an entire ecosystem: batteries, control modules, software, and layers of electronic communication. When one part fails, the entire system can unravel. And don't assume that spending more money will protect you. It won't. Luxury vehicles today suffer from embarrassing issues just like mainstream cars. An SUV priced at $60,000, $80,000, even $90,000, something you trust for its strength and durability, can end up leaking water into the cabin after a heavy rain. That alone tells you the truth. They are selling appearance instead of real quality. In other words, this decline is no longer just a feeling. The icons are cracking. The names people once trusted are starting to betray that trust. And when even the legends are no longer immune, the only real question left is, where should a smart buyer go? That brings us to the most important part: the real way out of this software-wrapped machine. The answer is not found in bright showrooms filled with LED lights. It is found in the used car market, where real mechanical values still exist. You need to look for what I call the sweet spot, a point where technology is useful but not yet a set of chains. The ideal range is vehicles built between 2015 and 2018. This is the perfect transition period. You still get basic conveniences like Bluetooth, backup cameras, or Apple CarPlay. But more importantly, the vehicle still runs on a fundamentally mechanical foundation. At this stage, controls like climate and audio are still physical buttons, solid, reliable, yet with clear feedback you can feel. They haven't been used to misuse over-the-air updates or alter your engine's performance without permission. Engines from this period are often naturally aspirated, with larger displacement and fewer fragile plastic components under the hood. Buying a used vehicle from this sweet spot is not just a smart financial decision. Avoiding the steep 30 to 40% depreciation that hits new cars in the first year, it is also a statement of independence. You truly own your vehicle, because real progress is not about adding more chips and screens. It's about maintaining a machine you can rely on to carry you and your family safely from one place to another. And if you don't want to become the next victim of this financial slaughterhouse, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel, because there is still much more behind the curtain and many things they would rather you never fully understand.